Welcome back. It's time now to take a look at the top business stories. Dubai courts to open dispute resolution and mediation center this month. Over 3/4 of UAE businesses positive about economy this year. And we find out about retailers' outlook for the Dubai Shopping Festival 2011. The GCC markets ended mixed today and the UAE bourses ended down. The DFM was down 1.5% to close at 1,600 points on the first day of the trading week. The property sector posted losses today as Emaar properties fell over 2.5% and Arab Tech was down over 1.5%. Dubai Islamic Bank fell by 1.25% and DU was down 2.25%. 81 million shares were traded, valued at 128 million dirhams. And over in the capital, the ADX lost over 0.75% to close at 2,713 points. The property sector witnessed losses today as Alder Properties lost 7%, while Sura Real Estate fell by 6.75%. Abu Dhabi Islamic Bank dropped nearly 0.75%, and Abu Dhabi Commercial Bank fell over 1.75%. Dana Gas lost 1.25% and Taka fell nearly 0.75%. Etisalat dropped nearly 1%. 108 million shares were traded, valued at 194 million dirhams. The Dubai courts are opening a dispute resolution and mediation center that will reduce litigations by up to 30% this year. The center will begin operations this month and aims to fast-track options to disputing parties, compared to litigation where the dispute resolution can be reached within a month rather than up to a year, currently seen in some cases. Director General of the Dubai Courts, Dr. Ahmed bin Hassim Al-Suwaidi, says the center will provide new options for disputers to settle their issue amicably and that incentives such as a 50% refund on case registration fees will be implemented if a resolution is found. The courts are currently deciding the different types of cases that will be referred. 78% of UAE businesses are optimistic about the economy this year. Financial and advisory firm Grant Thornton has released the results from its annual survey of over 11,000 businesses in 39 countries, revealing that 74% of UAE companies expect growth in revenue, 56% expect growth in profitability, and another 55% expect an increase in employment in 2011, making the UAE the joint fourth most optimistic country surveyed, along with Brazil and Switzerland. Chile came in at number 1 with 95% optimism, India in second place with 93%, and the Philippines at number 3 with 87%. Homeowners all across the UAE are still facing a lot of uncertainty concerning the control over their building, which is reflected in the Strata Law, which was established in 2007 to grant landlords more rights. Here to discuss the matter is the CEO of Landmark Properties, Charles Neal. Hi, Charles. How are you? Good to have you on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
How's the implementation of the Strata Law proceeding?
Well, the Strata Law is actually fully implemented. It's there, it's written, it's being enforced. What's happened now is that the law came out in April, and by the end of October, 6 months later, the developers were meant to have set up the interim associations, but there was something like over 2,000 interim owners associations that had to be set up. So it's taking longer than expected. By the end of January, there's another deadline, which is the requirement for the developers to hand in the final constitution for each of the owners associations. Now, we do not know what RERA are going to do now to enforce it, in terms of issuing fines, but I know a lot of developers are asking for more time because it's actually quite complex, and it's been quite difficult also for the developers to get the owners together, to get owners on the boards who are prepared to give up their time to sit on these boards to form the owners associations. So it is taking time.
Which areas are booming at the moment here in Dubai?
The areas that are popular are the areas that are, we say, on the coast, like the Palm, Marina, JBR. but also what I call the Emirates Living projects, springs, lakes, meadows, and downtown Burj Khalifa area, and the DIFC for their residential properties. We're finding that in those areas that certainly the rents seem to be levelling off now. Although Marina, there are new buildings coming on, so that may have an impact in 2011. But generally, for the good quality properties, that these sort of properties, we're not going to see further declines really in 2011.
Thanks for your time, Charles. The 7th World Islamic Economic Forum was announced today in Abu Dhabi. This year's conference will be held in Astana in Kazakhstan from the 7th to the 9th of June. June Wrigley takes a look at the trade relations between Kazakhstan and the UAE. The World Islamic Economic Forum is a renowned business platform showcasing business opportunities in the Muslim world. Today's press conference for the upcoming forum demonstrated not only the increasing importance of Islam as part of economic development, but also highlighted the growing cooperation between the UAE and Kazakhstan. Kazakh-UAE relations are on an upward trajectory. Like many countries around the world, Kazakhstan is looking to strengthen its partnership and boost investments from the Middle East region, especially the UAE. Current trade figures between the two countries stand at about $300 million, but is set to grow as the UAE is Kazakhstan's largest trading partner in the region.
Today there is an active cooperation between the countries in terms of the following sectors. The first of all is real estate, then oil and gas, and definitely it's a financial sector.
The UAE and Kazakhstan are both young and resource-rich nations, which through further economic cooperation can build solid ground for stronger trade relations. A major concern for the UAE is that of food security, and Kazakhstan may be part of the UAE's solution.
Kazakhstan today has the potential to guarantee supplies and cover full demand in the key agricultural products for the whole Middle East, all the countries of the Middle East, such as the wheat, meat, and other key products. We are closely collaborating on these issues with the government of Abu Dhabi.
In light of the intergovernmental cooperation, 2010 was a successful year for both countries as Kazakhstan granted Al Hilal Bank to open the first Islamic bank in Kazakhstan. And so far in 2011, two UAE property developers, Al Dar and Al Mawbar, are working to launch the $2 billion integrated community development project named the Abu Dhabi Plaza in the newly built capital city of Astana.
One of remarkable construction projects which we want to develop in next 2-3 years, that will be Abu Dhabi Plaza. So we're talking about two skyscraping towers with different it's a complex with the housing and the business offices and entertainment. So that will the idea this idea of this project totally supported by the president. Hopefully in June, during the 7th World Islamic Economic Forum, you will see very active construction works on the site.
Both countries are optimistic about the potential for enhanced trade and cooperation politically, economically, and culturally. The UAE and Kazakhstan are putting to practice the idea behind the World Islamic Economic Forum of building bridges through business. June Wrigley, 7 National News. And in our fast financial news, Al Habtoor Group chairman Khalaf Al Habtoor says his company is owed more than 4 billion dirhams by clients. He attributes the debt to changes in business culture over the financial crisis and that the group has been chasing the debt for over a year now. The chairman has said that many of the companies have the funds for repayment and that he may have to resort to arbitration should defaulters continue to delay payments. An extension for Etisalat to buy a 46% stake in Kuwaiti firm Zain is likely to be granted. It was reported yesterday that the deal may not go through as there was instability throughout some of the shareholders. Shareholders were given until midnight last night to sign a transaction agreement for the telecom operator to obtain a 51% stake of the company. And spouses who are sponsored by their other halves can now be employed without having to apply for a work permit. Previously, those sponsored by their husband or wife needed to apply for a separate work permit, and through the new law passed by the Ministry of Labour, only written permission is now needed from the sponsor to secure work. Coming up next, we speak to Richard Adams, retail analyst at Verdict, to discuss how the Dubai Shopping Festival will impact sales figures for 2011.